Sweet.
Cool.
So, I mean, we've got a bit to talk about from last week. Volk versus Islam, obviously.
Yep. Big night. It's had a bit of time to settle in now as well, which
Definitely.
feel a bit more comfortable with the result now. Last week when we discussed it, it was
We were both quite upset.
We were both pretty
There weren't tears.
upset.
You'll never see the episode, but there weren't tears.
Yeah, no, I didn't cry. I didn't have to change shirt and pants throughout the episode.
So it's had some time to settle in.
It has, yeah. It has.
How do you feel about it now? How do you feel about the whole fight?
Well, so Islam versus Volk. It was tough to watch. We're both big big Volk fans. Don't get me wrong, I'm an Islam fan too. I love the guy. I think he's great. But watching Volk go out like that on a couple weeks' notice, obviously a little bit out of shape, not quite ready to get in there. Just coming off of elbow surgery. It sounds like I'm making all the excuses in the book, and I kind of am. But it was tough watching him go out there and perform in that way, and just not really seem like himself against someone as good as Islam, because he will capitalize on it. If you do
exactly,
and he did, and Islam is extremely impressive.
That's right.
So good.
Like, I agree with everything you're saying, but yeah, at the end of the day, Islam did look exceptional in there, and I don't think it would have mattered who you put across from him. He was going to give them a very difficult time, in that shape at least. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. It was hard seeing Volk go out like that, but he even mentioned it in his post fight press conference that he was feeling a bit crap sitting there on the couch at home, and he needed to get up and do something, and he took that fight on short notice, and ultimately he paid the price.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that it's probably not something we'll see from him again, because yeah, like we've already kind of discussed this a little bit off camera and whatnot, but I think that is the end to that rivalry, which is sad, because the first time there was such a build up for it for months, and all of the press that went on around it, and the fight was in Australia, like it was huge, and this kind of all fell together at the last minute, and yeah. So I mean, it's not the result that we wanted, but I mean, it's the result that we got, and Islam is probably very chuffed with himself. And Volk has probably learned a very valuable lesson, that you can't step in there in the cage against someone as talented and as brutal, to be quite honest, as Islam, because he capitalize on anything. Yeah,
no, 100%. And that's another thing you touched on in the post-fight interview. You can't go up against someone as good as Islam and expect to do anything on 11 days' notice. I'm not saying this wouldn't have happened if Volk had a full camp. It could have definitely happened, and Islam is just that good. Anyone on any given day he can beat, and he can beat them like that. But it's tough going in there on 11 days' notice against someone as good as Islam and as prepared as Islam, and coming out with the win. And what did you predict to happen before the fight?
I don't really think I had a solid prediction in mind. I mean, obviously, like you say, we're both big Volk fans, so in my heart I was like I held some hope that he'd go in there and get the job done. But at the same time, like, you can never write off someone like Islam Machachev. Like, and the fight that they had last time was such a like that's gonna be a massive fight, like Hall of Fame wise, and like in my opinion at least. Like it was going until the last second.
It was, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I knew that Islam was dangerous, and Volk going in there on less than 2 weeks' notice was always going to be tricky. But yeah, I think in my heart I wanted it to be Volk, and in my head I kind of felt like it was going to be Islam.
Yeah.
So
I have to agree as well. In my heart, I'd convinced myself that Volk was going to do it. I could see it happen.
Just because, especially like last time, after we were all kind of like, oh, I don't know, like Islam was still invincible last time, remember?
Correct.
He was he'd run through everyone. He'd just steamrolled Charles, like in a fight that
no one really gave Volk a chance.
No one really gave Volk a chance. And then he kind of said it. He said it afterwards. Like, those who believed in me, you're like, you saw what I'm capable of. And he's like, and those who kind of had their doubts, now they like,
now they know.
Yeah, now they know. And that was it. Like, that was kind of why I felt like I owed that to him for this fight. Was like, I will believe in you, because I wasn't 100% convinced last time. But,
absolutely. And then watching that fight and how it turned out, and then watching him demolish Rodriguez in the next fight back at featherweight, obviously, in the way that he did, like, he just looked untouchable, and it just looked like the perfect thing. Maybe if he maybe you shouldn't have taken it, and on a full camp it would have been different. But things have played out the way that they have now, and
this is the fight game as well.
This is the fight game, and yeah.
Mm.
Volkanovski still goes down an absolute legend. This changes nothing. He's a champion of the game.
100%.
Same with Islam, obviously. And now what's next? This is the big question on everyone's heads, right? There's a lot of suitors out there for Islam. Volk's obviously got some challenges at 45. And
well, I mean, he could weigh in a pound under.
he could if he wants.
Yeah, he could.
He really could. He shouldn't.
He's that good.
He is that good. And he did weigh under 0.5 of... Oh, no, he didn't.
What's next?
Anyway, yeah, so yeah, what's next?
For Islam, we've got two options, really, don't we? We've got Charles, and we've got
Conor McGregor.
And we've got Gaethje.
Ah, yeah, right.
Yeah. Can we not bring him up?
Yes. Did you see that thing that DC did? And he was like, I got the perfect opponent for Islam, Conor McGregor.
Oh.
And it's like, DC, shut up.
Yeah.
I get, like, all his points were kind of like, I mean, he was really reaching. I get what he was saying.
I mean, you've got to be reaching to give Conor a shot at any belt right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
If there was a TMF, maybe the
money fight.
No, like for Twitter.
Oh, Twitter, motherfucker.
Yeah. But apart from that, he hasn't been doing much else. But yeah, I think Charles or Justin Gaethje.
That's got to be it. Yeah.
But Charles is the guy who deserves it most. I mean, we've talked about this before about how the UFC will a lot of the time make the fight that will make them the most money. So, I mean, there's always that on the table because I think it's tricky though. I mean, Islam versus Charles, Islam versus Justin Gaethje. I mean, they're both big draws.
Fights.
Yeah. And to be honest, I like Islam versus Charles because whoever wins that fight, I mean, Islam hasn't fought Gaethje before, but if Charles were to win, then it sets up that rematch with Charles and Gaethje. That's exciting also. So, I mean, getting those two to fight really does open up the division a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be Charles. Charles was given his shot. He didn't lose his shot by losing to someone or proving that he wasn't good enough. He's obviously good enough to challenge. He's beaten off Benny, who was basically the clear number one contender, and he earned that spot rightfully. And then he got injured, which is unfortunate, but run it again. Islam barely took any damage, so he can obviously go relatively soon. Yeah. I think he's before Ramadan he wants to go, which is I don't know when that is. I think it's like mid-year or something.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. I think the tricky thing is at the moment is they've got so many fights that need lining up at the moment. I mean, there's obviously middleweight that there's a lot of questions to be answered, and a few other divisions that still don't have title fights confirmed at the moment. And lightweight has been getting a lot of attention lately, so
it has, yeah.
It'll be tricky, but I'd say a main event maybe sometime around February or March.
Yeah, that would be good.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Chuck Charles in there as long as he's fit and healthy, and winner fights Gaethje. Gaethje doesn't need to fight anyone else, I don't think. He like convincingly knocked out Dustin Poirier.
Oh, very convincingly.
He's the guy that if you beat Poirier, you should get a title shot.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So let him wait out. Islam versus Charles early next year. Islam winner versus Gaethje.
You think Topuria for Volk then?
It's got to be Topuria, and I hope he takes longer off than he is claiming that he's going to take off, because coming back in January, which is 3 months, or did he say February? Which, whatever the case, it's 3 or 4 months. That's not long enough after being knocked out like that.
I had a feeling it was March. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, then, 3, 4, 5 months. I don't think that's long enough. Take 6, 7 months off, work through your personal issues that you were having. I know he said he's okay, but if he's getting those kind of issues, when he's on
if you feel like you need to get up and fight, like when you've proven to everyone that you're, like he's going to be in the conversation for a long time of being one of the greatest fighters of all time. Yeah. Like, let alone like the featherweight discussion is done now. He is the greatest featherweight of all time. I'm sorry, but that's
he's beaten Holloway and Jose, who are the only other two, in my opinion, that can hold a torch. Obviously, there's McGregor, but that it's obviously he also beat Holloway and Aldo, but there's no way they're gonna, I don't know.
In terms of
There's four
dominance,
there.
in
There's
terms
four
of
there.
dominance, it's Volk.
But you got to think Aldo before the UFC, he
Oh.
went on like a 10-fight title win streak. And
Yeah.
that was before they had featherweight in the UFC, which is pretty crazy. It's a toss-up. I really don't think you can pin one person down in that division as the best of all time. Like I
For me, it's
understand
Volk.
what you're saying, though. I understand what
For me.
yeah, for you it's
Just
I
for
understand.
me.
For you.
Yeah.
For you. So for you it's Volk, for me it's all four kind of merged into one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture that in my head.
It looked good. Connor's left hand, Aldo's legs, Volk's head,
Yeah, Volk's head.
Holloway's body, and right hand.
I think Volk's respiratory system.
Heads, yeah. Holloway's
Just
also
for
got a pretty
like
decent-
chokes in general.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Can't be choked.
Just for never going out.
But yeah, I mean, for him, it's got to be Topuria. It's got
Yeah.
to be Topuria next. He's kind of, if you feed Topuria to Max, he loses. Then what if are you gonna make him fight Max again?
Do you reckon he does? I mean, he's looking pretty solid.
He does look good, but Max.
But yeah, Max is
amazing.
kind of he's been the boogeyman of that division in terms of people getting title shots.
Yeah.
And that's why he keeps getting put back in there.
Yeah, exactly, 'cause
They
he is
kind of
that
they
good.
can't find anyone.
The good thing for Max is eventually Volk's going to have to retire, and he's younger than Volk, so he can probably get that title back. He's just got to
He's
wait.
younger than Volk, but
not in fighting years.
That's right, yeah. He's taken so much damage,
He's
man.
taken
He's-
a lot of bad damage.
He's taken a lot of damage, but
Yeah, I think
we've got a few other
Topuria.
fights to talk about too. But
Yes,
yeah,
we do.
Topuria versus Volk,
Moving
Islam
on, I
versus
guess.
Charles.
Yes. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching this short episode of Combat Corner.
If you like what you see, we've got lots of long form content below and lots of other videos like this, so feel free to go along and check it out. We really appreciate all your support. Thanks
would.
again for watching.
Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment, share it around. Have a good day.
Peace.